Hi. My question dovetails pretty nicely with that, I think, which is that for me, I think the most resonant criticisms of UBI have revolved around the spiritual and psychological value of work to an individual. And so I'm wondering what your thoughts on that are and why you propose UBI versus, say, just a large jobs program with the same amount of money.
Yeah. So to me, work is central. And the great thing about UBI is that it would create over 2 million jobs in these communities. And the example that I use is that if you can imagine a town in Missouri with 50,000 people, and right now there's someone in that town that wants to start a bakery, but the bakery is a dumb idea. But then I become president, and now there's another $50 million in spending power every month in that town, and then the bakery might become a good idea. And then that person starts a bakery, and then they say, hey, I need to hire a morning shift baker. And then you end up hiring people for accessible jobs in that community. And that's only possible because you're supercharging the local economy and helping restore vitality to those Main Street retailers. So this isn't the easiest way is to say hey, what are the jobs that that community is going to value and support? Then people will do those jobs because work is central. The biggest misconception about UBI is that it's somehow anti-work or mitigates work. It's pro-work. It's pro-work in terms of just creating jobs in those communities that people actually want to do and can access. It's also pro-work in terms of the moms and caregivers and nurturers, because we know that's work too. It's just our market doesn't value it as that. So that's the big, and that's at least starting to push us in the direction of meaning. How many of you all are entrepreneurs? So if you're an entrepreneur, you know what I'm talking about here, where it's you're doing something primarily because it's important to you. Yes, there's money involved. Yes, it might seem like a good economic opportunity, but you're driven by the fact that you think that that form of work is the highest form of work you can be doing at this point. And so if you put more Americans in that position, then that ends up being this incredible journey of self-discovery. Because what proportion of Americans right now do you think are doing the job that they really want to be doing? So you said 20%. It's you said 25. 5, 30. I'm happy to say it's around 30, but that still means there's this incredible gulf in terms of our potential energy and value. So one of the joys about this is that you're going to end up creating tens, hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs, and then people will be able to define their own meaning. I think a federal jobs guarantee program is well intended, but would be somewhere between problematic and disastrous in practice. Just if you imagine a world where it's hey, there's no job for you, you're going to die of starvation, but don't worry, we've got this government job for you. And then you show up, and then let's say it's you don't like the job, you don't like your boss, that there are some problems. It's well, you don't have a choice because this is your only means of survival. And so then you wind up with this bureaucracy doling out subsistence jobs that are necessary for people to survive. And then you have people get politically activated around this is a sure path to dystopia. And unfortunately, that seems to be the direction we're trending. So I love the spirit of a federal jobs guarantee. If we could all magically have jobs that worked out and that we liked and that helped make the earth more sustainable, that would be great. But in practice, that stuff is going to be very, very difficult and expensive and cumbersome and give rise to a whole new army of bureaucrats who measure our performance.